Peace. This is Brother Hatim. I'm on the journey tonight. We on the Freestyle Fridays. I got some people with me. I got some fam with me tonight, so we might have a lively discussion. Depends on, cause it's kind of late and they both old as hell. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to keep up the pace. We got some young bloods coming over here pretty soon too. But this is Brother Hatim. I'd like to welcome all of you to the journey. I'm about to put up on my screen so that if anybody's out there listening and want to make comments, you can, so I can see what you got to say. I appreciate all those that stop in. But before I get too far into this, I want to send shouts out to those things that I love, those products that I love. Of course, Oxy Water, the world's first oxygen-enhanced flavored mineral water. Go and try something. It got everything you need. Zero calories, zero carbs, zero sugar, B vitamins, antioxidants, minerals. It got everything you need for those that's trying to get a healthy lifestyle. Also, I want to send out shots to Orange 82 for giving us the introduction music. And so now I'm going to jump it off. Now, the first thing I want to hit on is I was exploring the internet today, and I found out that Lupe Fiasco is supposed to be retiring from rap, and it kind of broke my heart. And obviously, the old people here didn't hear about that, So, right, Lupe Fiasco is retiring from rhyme, and I got to admit that I haven't really listened to a lot of his stuff. But after I read that, I went to his new video that caused all the problems, and it's called, what's the name of that video? Bitch Bad. Bitch Bad. And I listened to the song, and that is one of the best actual hip-hop tunes I have heard in a long time. Bitch Bad. That's a badass song. All right, the question was, why is he retiring? According from what I'm picking up on Twitter, another rapper from Chicago threatened to slap the shit out of him because of the song. He was upset about the song because basically the whole song is talking about how you need to kill the word bitch in hip-hop when we talking about women and how it confuses the youth. It's hot. Well, anyway, Lupe Fiasco read the comment and got upset because he felt that he's doing this thing, he's trying to bring a positive message, but it's not being received, and people is dogging him. So he's upset about it. And what I liked about it is the brother is very good with his words. And he said, he ended the statement with, literature was his first love, and he's going to return to her. Now that shit was dope. So I'm going to go out myself and purchase all the Lupe Fiasco shit that I can so I can make sure he can retire right, because I finally found somebody in hip-hop that's doing some shit that I can respect. Because all this other shit, I don't know what's going on. And what they call hip-hop, I don't know what the hell is going on. But it's bad. But since we on that hip-hop shit, or that rap shit, let's go and talk about that for a little while. Wait for some of the young people to come in and like to drop it like it's hot and shit and talk to us. But I got people in here that's over 30. Why don't you give me your take on the present state of rap/hip-hop? Question: are they the same? Are they different? What do you view? What do you think about it? I'm gonna start with Brother Devin.
Man, dang, you gonna put me on the spot like that? The current state of hip-hop/rap. And say, well, I mean, to me being, over 30, I have a different view on hip-hop and what hip-hop used to be about. It used to be more of a political statement. It used to tell the stories of the streets, but also bring awareness to, some issues that were prevalent. And saying now what we're hearing, aside from the music kind of being mind-numbing and very slow, and say if you listen to a lot of the beats or whatnot, they slow you down a lot. And so, but the derogatory music towards women. So you also have, talking about killing one another, or taking out the next person. So it's a lot of destruction. There's not a whole lot of positive or enlightening and uplifting music out there right now. And if there is, it's underground, which is pretty disheartening, especially for someone like myself. You don't hear too much of a Talib Kweli record or anything like that. Even geniuses on the mic like a Jay-Z, if they have a song that's positive or that even tells a story to make you think, it's not something that gets played on the regular airwaves. It's mostly, like Biggie said, party and bullshit.
Yeah, I said right. Party and bullshit and party and bullshit. For all those young ears that don't know where that's from Niggas Are Scared of Revolution by my uncle Umar bin Hassan off The Last Poets. For anybody that don't know, Ben Hassan is really my uncle, and I have an interview with him on my speaker page. It's a real good interview where he details how he came up with the whole concept of Niggas Are Scared of Revolution. It actually was out of a riot that happened in Akron, Ohio in the late 60s, where he saw niggas was really scared of revolution. So now, next on the mic, I want to go on and introduce Sister Sheila. Sister Sheila, could you share with us how you feel about the present state of hip-hop and what we call rap? Go on, sit down, girl.
I honestly don't listen to a lot of rap or hip-hop. I don't listen to a lot of the new artists. I'm more of I listen to Jay-Z. I listen to like Nicki Minaj, and I listen to a few new ones, but I really don't listen to a ton of new stuff. So just because it doesn't excite me, and I need to be excited. I need to, as soon as it comes on, it needs to excite me, or I'm gonna change the station, or I'm gonna swap CDs. If I can't get a message instantly, I generally don't give second chances. Like Brother Devin said, there's no message there, and if there's no message there, I really don't have a need for it, basically. So that's pretty much, my point on it. If there's no message, I don't need it.
We're just joined by Sister J, and right now, to bring her up to date, we talking about the present state of hip-hop right now, having fun. And then also, don't be scared if y'all have any concepts that y'all want to talk about. I got a whole 45 minutes on this shit to burn up, and I'm going to burn it up because I'm paid, and I'm trying to use it up as much as I can because it's hard times in the hood. We was presently joined by Sister J, and I wanted to see her perspective on hip-hop because she's a little bit younger, actually a lot younger than most of us in this room. I mean, I got her by, I lived 2 lifetimes now, according to her ass. So, I want to go and bring her up. Maybe she could be the voice of reason, because I'm about to lash out and smash this rap shit. Go ahead.
Well, when it comes to my personal, when it comes to what I personally look for in hip-hop or rap music, it is more old stuff. I didn't grow up listening to rap or hip-hop. I didn't really start listening to it or wasn't really exposed to it until I was, like, in my late teens, early 20s, just because that's not what we listened to in my house. So when I did start listening to it, like, I started listening to, like, CL Smooth and J. the Damager, like, random, just, things like that. So that's naturally what I gravitate towards, because that's what I was first introduced to. However, being younger and, being close to the younger generation, I understand the music that's put out now, and I can sit down and I can listen to it, and I won't say I prefer it, but I like it. You know what I'm saying? Because I can understand what they're trying to do. Because young people today grow up in a culture of instant gratification. You can be famous off tweeting. Like, you don't really have to work to do anything. And if they want anything, they want it now. And there's so much available out here. There's so many avenues and outlets, that they have, they can get what they want instantly without really a whole lot of work. And I think that's the difference between hip-hop now and hip-hop back in the day. Back in the day, in society in general, you had to work hard, you had to prove yourself to get some type of status or stature or rep, or clout. Whereas today, you could be an internet rapper, nobody ever seen your face, you never go to a recording studio, you make your own beats, you can do everything in the closet in the back of your room and be a sensation and be a hit nationwide. And I think that's what drives the music now. It's all about instant gratification. I want to feel good now, I want to feel rich now, I want to feel tough now, I want to feel sexy now, and that's what the music's about. It's about feeling in the moment. It's not about what you did to get there, what you're going to do afterwards. So I don't think that's right, but at the same time, that's where they live, so that's where they're at, and that's the kind of music that they make.
Now, I personally, first off, I got to first say that for me, there's a definite difference between hip-hop and this shit that's on the radio right now. Hip-hop is a culture that came out of a quest for young people to be heard and seen. And basically, this rap shit that's out right now is, for me, media produced. It's like she said, I agree with her on the instant gratification, but that's not necessarily the only reason, because I have to say this to all listeners. If you don't like that shit, it wouldn't be sold. If we didn't buy that shit in droves, it wouldn't be sold. Like Nicki Minaj, you know what I'm saying? We got our little girls running around, our bees in the trap, you know what I'm saying? They want the yellow hair, the purple hair and shit. And we got to really understand the influence that this have on our little kids. I'm riding in the car, and my wife put on 107.5, or actually my son come up put on 107.5, and know all the songs that quick. But I can't get him to do his fucking math homework. I'm having an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? Because this music has a strong effect on our children's mind. So I'm like, it's instant gratification, but people have to purchase it in order for it to do what it's doing. And I got a question: who's buying this shit? Do anybody got an album?
Well, as far as older or classic hip hop being a culture, I don't think it's fair to call the music that they're putting out right now rap and not hip hop, because what they're living is their culture. Whether it's different from what we did or whether we agree with it doesn't really matter. That's the culture, because that's how they live. That's the rules of the life that they live, of their societies, of their communities that they live in. So it's not fair to be like it's not hip hop, because it's like ancient societies. If the Greece changed the way they do things, are they still Greeks? Because it's different, they're still Greek. And hip hop changed because the culture changed, society changed, the way people interacted with each other changed.
This is why I love this girl, because she got a quick mind. But I'm going to say this. You right. She right. I'm going to agree. Because when Greeks start doing different shit, they was as a group called Greek. But at least you had Athens and Sparta. One of them was fucking boys out in the open. The other one was doing it secretly, along with killing motherfuckers. So, I hear your Greek thing, but because the reason what I'm saying is, I agree with you. Maybe it is a culture, and I'm not, because people didn't give us our props about hip hop being a culture, and they still arguing the point. They say it's a subculture, but I'm saying, whatever it is, why don't they get their own title? We put it under hip hop, but let's put what title is it? Ho and bitch shit. What is it? What's the title?
But why should it get a new title? The new generation's doing exactly what the old generation did. But the new generation is in a completely different structural community setting than the old generation did. If you were an underground rapper in the 90s, there's no way you're making $1 million off selling your mixtape. You had to get signed to a major label. You had to sell millions of records in the record store. You had to get booked on tours to make money. Look at Drake. Drake made millions of dollars off a mixtape. He wasn't even a major artist yet. They're selling, like Lil Wayne and them and Future and 2 Chainz, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling CDs out of the backs of their cars, doing concerts, and nobody knows who they are mainstream. That's what I'm saying. Like, before you had to prove yourself, before you got signed to a label, and then you had to prove yourself as an artist. And now artists are proving themselves and then getting signed. And then getting signed, and it's not even about getting signed to be able to develop your talent and reach an audience. You already have your audience, and you basically sign with the record label to get mass produced, to get more exposure, and really you still don't make no money off of records. You make money off of touring, which you were already doing. However, the only bonus is because you have a major label, you have more advertising, you reach more people, so you make more money when you do your shows.
Now, I'm gonna disagree on this point. Now, a long time ago, right? A long time ago, you had hip-hop artists who maybe were not selling underground tapes but were making money. You know what I'm saying? Now, there was a dividing line in hip-hop where we had what was called gangster shit, and we also had what was called cultural, more cultural pieces. Hip-hop was supposed to develop a message. And it's designed to put something out. It's designed to give a voice to those who have not been heard. Now, what are the groups nowadays saying? You know what I'm saying? Now we'll disagree with you. Nowadays, less than any other time, you don't need a record label to get out there and make millions of dollars. Like you said, you got young boys out here selling millions and millions of albums or mixtapes without any help from a major label. So you don't have to sign with a label. As a matter of fact, you kind of take a step backward if you already got an audience and you sign with a label. Because you're losing money. These motherfuckers is controlling your image. Go ahead.
Another thing is that they are creating their own brand. They are their brand. And I think that's something that artists didn't do in the past. They're doing more than just making music. They're making skateboards, they're making clothing, they're making toothbrushes. They're making their image. They are their brand. So they're not waiting for someone else to do that. So, you know, and people get hooked on that. We, especially as Americans, are hooked on a brand name. We are hooked on a brand name. So that's why it's selling. It's selling because Lil Wayne's already got his name here, here, and here. So then by the time they hear his music, yeah, we like him. I mean, you know, and then the people that they're coming under are already branded. Because remember when Lil Wayne came, he was young. He started out real young. But who was he under? You know what I'm saying? He was under Cash Money. So they were already branded. They already had their millions and billions of dollars. So when they bring those people on, they help them create their brand before they even drop an album.
Some of them. But like she said, Drake didn't need really none of them because he was already making money selling his tape.
He created his brand. He created himself because Drake started out on TV. Yeah, he was an actor. So he had already created himself.
So my question is, if he was already able to sell 100,000 and keep all the money, why would you need to sign with a label? This is kind of moving off the point because I hear y'all and I understand, but my point is a culture is supposed to sustain and maintain the group that in a sense that created it. And I'm like, what are these young people? I can't even say all of them young. What are they creating and maintaining right now? Because a culture, I mean, can you really call it a culture if it's destroying everybody else that come up behind you? Oh, bitch bad. I'm sorry.
As far as signing to a label, it's like joining a gang. You can kill people by yourself. You can sell drugs by yourself. You can even be successful by yourself. But who you surround yourself with and who's working with you, who you help, because when you join a gang, you're helping them help you. You see what I'm saying? They might make more money at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, your gross income or your whatever you make, the total is going to be higher than what it was if you did it by yourself. That's why Drake signed with Lil Wayne. Drake's not a thug. Like you said, he's a child actor. You know what I'm saying? Grew up with his white Jewish mother. He's a little Jewish boy from Toronto, Canada. Not a thug. Never seen no street life. But he can say that. Why? Because that's his crew. That's who he rolls with. You see what I'm saying? He couldn't sign to Eminem and be talking about, I'm out here spraying niggas. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? Because Eminem's not that dude. Lil Wayne is that dude. You see what I'm saying? And even though Lil Wayne's not as talented as Drake is, because Lil Wayne's admitted it himself. Lil Wayne said that. He said I can't keep calling myself the best. He said I can't do it. Even though, you see what I'm saying? He can't, even though he's not, Lil Wayne has the persona. He has a personality. And when you're in that group, just because that's who you're associated with, that's what you can say. As far as what they're saying, you had to realize that in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, who were those kids' parents? Those kids' parents are parents who fought in the civil rights era, right? They worked for shit, they made improvement, and now you have these parents teaching their children, if you do this, now these doors are open for you to be accomplished, to be successful, and this is what you have to do. You have children, you have people growing up analyzing that stuff. Now you have that same generation of people growing up and realizing they're in the same shit that their parents were, and all this shit was supposed to change, and they're bitter. And now you have children growing up under people who are bitter. So that's what they say. It is a culture. A culture is how you live. It's what you believe. It's what you know. It's how you can be destructive. If you're a destructive people, you're gonna have a destructive culture. But that doesn't make it not. That doesn't not make it a culture.
She pulling away. Go ahead, Jay. Get your show, girl. No, but listen. This is my question. Then, where is the culture taking the people? Because your daughter will be possibly susceptible to it no matter how you do her. My son is just, you know what I'm saying? The point is, where is the culture going? Because if the culture is leading to destruction, is it something that needs to continue? I mean, I know there's very little that could do. Well, there is a lot that we could do to stop it. Because I'm not necessarily for that, because I was upset when people was trying to stop what we was doing. Because I used to love Ice-T. Ice-T came out with that shit 6 in the morning. Oh my God. I was popping Ice-T, then I would throw in my KRS-One. I had a balance. Where's the balance? And what are they saying? Because I understand the whole bitterness argument that you got, that they coming up and they seeing that they ain't getting shit. They see that things are bad. But yet, can't you drop something on your album every now and then to kind of say something towards that? Do they do that?
Yes, they do. I think the biggest problem is we are wanting them to be our children's mentors. We are not our children's mentors. The destruction is because we are not guiding them. You can let your children listen to or watch anything. If you sat down and explain to them, maybe they are. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that your child can't have an understanding of it. If we help these children understand the music, as opposed to just letting them listen to the words and repeat the words, that makes a big difference. Just like watching TV. Just like watching a scary movie. I watch scary movies all my life. I've never murdered anybody. Well, not physically. I mean, I can shut some shit down.
You are a verbal assassin.
I can be that. But you know what I'm saying? It's that same kind of thing. If we let our children listen to the gangster rap and then go out here walking around like they a gangster, eventually they're going to think in their head that they are capable of doing whatever that rapper says because that rapper said so. But if we guide them, then the outcome's better.
But this is the challenge for me, because I agree with you 100%. So now one of the things we're talking about is parent involvement. But one of the things that we all know, and that was probably a major issue in all our lives, at a certain age, children, regardless of how you try to mentor them, eventually start hanging with their peers, and their peers have a major effect on them. Now, for example, when I was young, in order for me to hear a Richard Pryor album, I had to kind of find where it was stashed, get it, put it on the stereo, turn it down low enough so that nobody would hear, because I knew I was going to get my ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to accept the consequences, but in order for me to even get anywhere close to what our kids are listening to, I had to kind of hide and because I knew that although the adults did it, it was unacceptable for me to do it, and that type of barrier is no longer there, especially with kids having access that they do, because you could be the best parent in the world, you could be the best role model for your kids, but your kids are going to decide eventually. Now, my question is about this whole piece, all right, because Jay already smashed my whole argument about it not being a culture. We shouldn't call it something different than hip-hop, so I'll stop that. But my question is now, then, in that case, what direction is hip-hop taking these people in, taking our folks into, and what can we do to, one, either soften the landing when all these kids figure out they're not going to be driving Phantoms, when all of them figure out they're not going to have diamonds as big as goose eggs, you know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't going to be able to get a Maybach. Now, so what can we do to deal with that? And I love the way Jay put her hand out, but hey, I got to take a commercial break. We're going to come right back. I swear to God, we're going to come right back, and I'm going to let Jay have her second, but then Brother Devin wanted to say something. So, Devin, go and say something and take us out.
All right. It's one thing to take into consideration when we're talking about art. Art is always supposed to be something to spark conversation, and that's something that we don't have with our young people. So we're here to talk about that when we get.
Alright, we are back, and here I go. This is the piece that I forgot. Now, taking into account, because I understand the influence that parents should have over their children, but one thing that we always got to take into account is that artists are the vanguards of a society, and usually the direction that the artists go into is usually the direction that the people go into. So how do we deal with that?
Well, I think the first step is that we have to stop looking at hip hop as this entity separate from society that kind of has its hands working in there. Hip hop is made up of artists. Artists are made up of people who grow up in a culture. And regardless of what you tell your children is how you live. So when you have these people who came out the civil rights movement and their parents were successful, we're integrated, we're doing all this. Okay, you're confident. So now you have all this political analysis. You can analyze how people are interacting with each other, jobs, and now you feel like you should be successful. You talking all this stuff. Your kids understand what you're saying. It's not that they don't think what is true, but they're looking at how it's manifesting in your life. You can say all you want, but at the end of the day, if we're struggling for shoes, if we're struggling for food, if we're struggling for success, if my mom and dad are fighting because our household's torn apart because daddy can't get a job but my mom can, and it's not that much money. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is that the children see the result of your philosophy and the way it manifests in your lifestyle. I think that's what we have right now. You have a generation of children who grew up with hopeless parents and hopeless homes. Period. Marriage is down. Money's down. You see what I'm saying? It's not that consciousness is not there. It's that consciousness, the generation that's raised, the generation that's pushing the industry right now, they're hopeless. They don't care. You have children. This is the first generation where you have children literally running their parents. You have parents breaking their pockets to buy their kids shoes before they pay rent. You have parents turning on the radio, trying to listen to the music that their kids are listening to. It's not even like, you see what I'm saying? The difference is when you were growing up, your parents were listening to Richard Pryor, and that wasn't your music. That wasn't your entertainment. Now the children are listening to the kids' entertainment, trying to fit in. That's the difference. I'll say this too. with the instant gratification, if you have a generation of kids who's grown up with parents who are hopeless, and they're hopeless as well, they're like, fuck it. If I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do right now. If I gotta sell my ass, shake my ass, sell dope, be a nigga, lick boots, lick ass. Look at Kim Kardashian. This girl got famous off sucking dick in a mix on a video. That's how she got famous. And it's not like she didn't already have money. She already came from a wealthy family. She got famous off of having sex on a video that still goes out today. She's a multimillionaire and businesswoman right now. Look at Black China. She's a stripper off from Vegas, marrying a rapper, got millions of dollars and laid up. For what? For shaking your ass. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter. The future doesn't matter because I'm going to get mine right now. That's what it is. Fuck the system, politics, getting better, moving ahead. All them niggas who did that shit weren't successful. If I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it right now, and fuck what happens before or after.
So the concept of success can be broken down, still on hip-hop though, but the concept of success can be broken down to how much money you have. Okay. So success is connected directly to the money aspect. Now, this is the question that comes up for me. Is that necessarily the fact? Because a lot of people that's trying to commit suicide is motherfuckers with a lot of money that they haven't found happy.
Success doesn't always necessarily mean you're happy. It's a lot of people with money that this didn't just start. Well, lots of wealthy people years and centuries ago committed suicide because they're not happy within. We are not trying to find our inner happiness anymore.
Can Nicki Minaj lead us to our inner happiness with that fake ass? Is it fake? That's the question.
But when you say is money the key to happiness or success, you have to look at the context of how you're growing up. For rich people, I was watching The Aviator, and it was a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio, I think what's his character? I forget his, like Howard Hughes or something. He was at the table with his fiance's house, and the parents were talking all fast, and she came from a rich family. She said, "Well, we don't care about money," and he said, "That's because you have it. If you always have it, you don't care. You don't care. It's not an issue. It's like it's like us right now. We always have water. We don't give a fuck about water. We leave that shit running. We turn it off. We don't care. We don't check the filters. We don't care about water because we always have it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas children in Africa who have to go walk them out, pump it in a bucket, then bring it back to the house, water matters. That's the difference. If you have money, money doesn't matter. You look for your happiness somewhere else. If you don't have money and you want nice things because you see nice things all around you, all money's happiness all day. I'll give anything for money. Whereas rich people who always have money, I want something more because now I have all these nice things and I can get as many nice things as I want. That doesn't mean anything. I have a room full of nice things. I grew up in nice things. I can throw nice shit away and get a new one tomorrow. That doesn't make me happy because I have it. Water doesn't make us happy. Fresh water makes some child somewhere ecstatic if they didn't have to go, you know what I'm saying, grind all day just to take a bath or to drink or to get just a cup of water, you know?
After that, I don't know where to go. She has a good point. I ain't going to argue with her because it ain't going to do no good. Well, anyway, but now back to this hip-hop shit since we back on. But you saying that the wealth, if you got it, it don't matter. Now, so what happens when the large group of young people that are growing up now hit their 20s, 30s, and 40s and figure out that they're not going to get what these stars are promoting now? What happens to society then? I mean, will there be some change? I mean, where do you think it'll go from there?
But who am I to say they're not going to get that? They may not get it as a rapper, but they may get it as a business person because majority, you know, maybe they're not looking at the rap aspect of it. Maybe they're looking at shit. Dr. Dre is selling earphones, and he's on the top of the game right now. Maybe they'll take that away from it. You know, just because they're rapping and they're saying fuck you, fuck somebody else, fuck this bitch, fuck, you know, whatever, that may not be the only thing that the kids are looking at. We can't, unless we talk to them, I can't tell you what's going to happen, because they may get every bit of that. They may have every bit of that wealth, every bit of that success, because they may become that business person. They may become that entrepreneur. They may own that entertainment company. You know what I'm saying? So you know, they might have that.
And also, I think the fact of them knowing that they'll never have that makes them more attracted to the music. Because the reality that they're always going to be in the position that they're in no matter what, it's sad and it's depressing. You see what I'm saying? If for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I can pop in the album and feel like I'm the biggest fucking gangster in the world, I'm the baddest bitch in the world, I have the fattest ass in the world, niggas are lining up to get it, that's appealing. Like, I literally see every day just the most busted people on the side. They'll be walking down the street, clothes torn, hair dirty, you know what I'm saying? Just jamming. They won't have earphones in, nothing. I mean, going hard to a song, rapping every lyric, hand motions, head bobbing like they're in a video, walking down the street on the side of Livingston Avenue. What are you doing? But they're lost. Like, they're literally lost in the music. That's how they get their gratification. That's how they get their enjoyment. That's scary, but it's true.
So right now, this style of hip hop, this era of hip hop is more about escapism. And then my question is, then if they're spending all this time escaping, when do they really take time to really look at the reality? You know what I'm saying? Working in the schools and seeing some of the kids coming up. And I mean, like, I was sitting in a classroom and young kids, a young kid was singing something about getting some brains and shit in the classroom. And I'm my issue was, I didn't get upset with the child because I was praying that he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But my thing is, if this era of hip-hop is all about escapism, when do they start beginning to deal with some of the things like Sheila's saying? Like, you can make money, but it don't necessarily have to be with the rap. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is that everybody will not have a Maybach. Everybody will not have a Rolls Royce. Everybody will not have the best cars, because one of the reasons that makes them so good is because they're exclusive. We all would not want a Rolls Royce if everybody and anybody could drive that motherfucker. That's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So when does the dealing with reality, when does the dealing of setting your mind so that you can find your passion like Lil Wayne found his and start pursuing your goal, if you are always caught up in this illusion, as you call it, this escapism? You know what I'm saying? It's a delusion. So my question is, if this whole generation is following delusions, and according to like scientific theory, they say it takes 10,000 hours to master something. If the only thing you spent your 10,000 hours on, which takes about 10 years, about 3 hours a day for you to master, and your young part of your life is spent on listening to this shit, and you escaping, what are you going to do when you get older? What are we going to do with a whole generation or a generation and a half of motherfuckers who finally decide, or not even decide, who are finally confronted by the reality that life is, I ain't going to say life is fucked up, but because of how they prepared themselves, that life is fucked up for them. Because, you know, I'm with Sheila on the success does not necessarily have to do with money. Happiness.
Well, when the current trend of things, it definitely cannot be that way, because it is projected that this generation will not be as affluent as their parents. Matter of fact, they'll be more than likely poorer than their parents were before them.
But the the fact of the matter, that has already hit because a majority of us may not be doing as well as our parents. Now, I can't remember the guy's name, but he wrote the book Powernomics. He said that he said that black people are on their way to being a permanent underclass if we keep at the state of where we're going. And this is my issue with hip-hop as it stands now, because Jay, you made a valid point, and I agree 100% with you. I cannot disown them because I would be doing the same thing that my grandparents and other people who was listening to me walking around rapping did with me. Dr. Claude Anderson, that for those who's interested in Powernomics. But I lost my point. It's gone. All right, here we go. I can't get mad at them because I would be doing what the older people was doing to me, not supporting me and stuff like that. Because I don't never try to crush nobody's dreams, whether they talking about being a rapper, basketball player, a physicist, or whatever. My thing is to give them the tools to succeed. But my major concern is when a large amount of time is being invested in escapism, what is left for them in the future?
I'll say this. The difference is that when you look at Lil Wayne's not different than a lot of other boys. And I say that because there's a lot of rappers who I know in my personal life who are just as talented as he is. They have flow, they have rhymes, they have the vernacular, whatever you want to call it. The difference is he had a mentor who saw that in him and taught him how to manipulate the game to get what he wants. And that's the difference. You have all these people who, even if they sit down and analyze reality, they don't have the tools to be able to manipulate their situation to get ahead. I went down to a conference in Atlanta for black homeschoolers, and my friend was talking about one of her friends who went to an independent black school from when she was in kindergarten to when she graduated high school. She said to my friend, I know everything about African culture. I can tell you the history, I can tell you names, I can tell you traditions, rituals. She said, but I can't tell you how to survive in this system. That's the difference. The percentage of people that know how to survive in this system is getting smaller and smaller because you have all these people escaping. And by the time you wake up, it's too late for you to start learning these things again because you don't have time to sit down and study. It's like people, 30 years old, you don't have time to go to school full time no more because you have to work, you need a job, you have to pay your rent, and that's the difference.
Right. So we're going to have a whole generation of individuals coming up homeless. I mean, but that's the way it's designed. Now, this is because now, to bring it home, because I wish we had more time, but kind of to bring it home. So we got to look at, like with these record labels, we know that there's none of us that look like us that's really sitting around each table making the major decisions about who get on. Because you don't find it strange that when you look at hip-hop today, because you corrected me, that everybody is coming out sounding the same, but yet and still we know that there are other artists out there with different sounds that may be able, with the right backing, to be able to saturate the market with something that would kind of bring this thing into a balance, because it's out of hand. And then on top of that, we also didn't cover the other elements of hip-hop, but we got to go. This is Brother Hatim. I got 30 seconds left, so I'm going to go and let Spreaker go on and take us out. And peace. You have any comments, hit me up at www.giamijourney.com. Peace.